Thank you. It's my great privilege to welcome and honor Senator Lindsey Graham, a longtime public servant from South Carolina and a U.S. Senator. Senator Graham is well known to our community for his work as chairman of the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee and State and Foreign Operations. Tonight, we recognize his outstanding service and leadership in international development and humanitarian affairs. I had prepared remarks, but I'm going to cut it short because I think Senator Graham gave his own introduction last week when he convened a hearing on the plight of refugees fleeing from the Middle East and North Africa. He said, and I can appreciate this because I'm a Southerner, I'm a hawkish kind of guy, but I know that the most powerful thing in the world is a girl in a schoolroom. And to me, that epitomizes what Senator Graham is about. In a political climate where it is sometimes not popular to be an advocate for things like water, health, sanitation, the education of girls, he has stood up. When he visits other countries, he presents the best face of America. He presents our best face as our government to what we all believe in is most important in changing the world. It's not about boots on the ground. It's about activists in countries. And Senator Graham gets that and lives that, and he is our ally and partner. It is my great privilege and honor to present our 2016 Congressional Award to Senator Lindsey Graham.
That was very kind. Thank you.
It's the truth. Here we go. Come on. We have to do the picture.
Okay.
We have to do the picture.
Not picky. Been there, done that. I don't know if I deserve this award, but I don't deserve half the crap I get, so I'll take the award. So that's like the kindest introduction anybody could ever give me. The face of America, I am not the best face, but I'm trying to represent your values. You represent the best of America, not somebody in public life and a politician. You represent the best in our country because you're getting out and changing the world. So let me tell you where I'm coming from on this. I try to find out the worst way, what's the most devastating thing I could do to the enemies of our nation? Radical Islam, the enemies of mankind, is give children a glorious, a hopeful life to compete with a glorious death. We're going to win this war because they're on the wrong side of history and human nature. The military appreciates you a lot. I just retired this past June, after 33 years in the Air Force, 37 trips to Iraq and Afghanistan, 140 days on the ground as U.S. Air Force reservist, dealing with rule of law and trying to create capacity for these countries to hang in there and make it through the tough times. What have I seen? You. I've seen you. People in your organization on the ground changing lives. You can do more good than a whole battalion of soldiers, and the soldiers know that. This is 1%. And you're very brave. You're very brave in your own way. You deal with issues that most people want to turn away from. So I appreciate the award, but I appreciate you. And you're going to help me grow this account. We're at 1% of the federal budget on foreign assistance. Talking about foreign aid when your country's this much in debt is a hard sell. Talking about building schools over there for people who need schools here is a hard sell until you think about what we get for our money. You're going to pay now or you're going to pay later, don't you think? That's the way I look at it. Get ahead of these problems. The refugee problem won't just go away. So let's help Jordan. Let's help Turkey. Let's help the frontline states create capacity they don't have that will make us safer and a better people. The average refugee lives in a displaced situation for 17 years. We got to get Humanitarian assistance married up with developmental aid, because that's the reality, right? It's not just water and diapers and food, it's an education and a skill, so they'll be more valuable to the host country, because many of them will never go back. If you really want to make America safe, in the truest sense of the word, you have to build up the lives of others, because we'll never be safe by killing terrorists. That is part of the equation. But the real home run for us as a nation in the world at large is to create those institutions that we take for granted, that school system that we take for granted, that ability to choose your leaders, to have a reliable police force, a rule of law nation. This is the hardest part of the war. This is the hardest part of politics, is to get people involved when they're tired, when they're weary, and they want to shut out all those problems over there because we've got so many here. The reason I appreciate you so much is that you seem to never get tired of doing the right thing. You seem to have a boundless energy and optimism and makes me better at my job. So here's my promise to you. We're going to protect this 150 account, the foreign assistance account, the best we can. The best we can. And I tell my colleagues, for every dollar that the federal government puts on the table, the private sector matches and then some. It's your money coming. The value of you is that the private sector is investing in you. And I want to make this a good partnership. I want to take it to a new level. But here's what I've learned, and I'll leave you with this thought. We've got to think outside the box. Now's the time to do something really big before it's too late. I talk about the Marshall Plan with Bono. Bono is the conscience, I think, of the international community, the one foundation. But you are the frontline troops. You're the people that go out into the really distressed areas doing things that need to be done. We need a Marshall Plan for the developing world. We need to put money on the table to change behavior in countries that are fragile to keep them from becoming failed states. Not just writing checks, but leveraging your good work. We spent $1.5 trillion on these wars. Take 10% of that and see what you could get for your money. Help countries change the systems that hold them back. In Egypt, 90 million people in Egypt, it's going to go one way or the other. We need to push the Egyptian government to be more friendly to NGOs. We need to push the Egyptian government to understand you're never going to be safe by putting everybody in jail. I think the president of Egypt is somebody I can work with. He needs to see you as an asset, not a liability. I need to leverage our relationship to make sure that Egypt doesn't fail. The bottom line is that a small amount of money relative to the overall cause spent now can save a lot of money and lives later. So I'm going to need your help. We're going to go around the world and get donor nations to create a new pot of money. And it's just not going to be money. If you do the right thing, you'll get preferential trade agreements that will help the economies of these developing nations, like Nigeria. We want to destroy Boko Haram, but we want to hold the ground too. We want to work with this new president, and we want to bring about reform. 1 out of 8 people working for the Egyptian government's an unsustainable economy. I'm excited. Are you excited?
Yes.
I'm really excited that our generation can leave behind a better world, that we can take the fight to the enemy in the most lethal fashion, destroy their ideas, and build up the lives of others. That we can turn around a Mideast that's going into chaos if we work together and we're smart. I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need you on the phone calling senators and congressmen to think big and think outside the box. I think we live in an incredibly dangerous time with unlimited opportunity. This 1% of the budget is the best investment the United States taxpayer will ever make. 75% reduction in mother-to-child AIDS transmission because the American taxpayer, leveraging your resources, has created a turnaround in Africa. 10 years ago, nobody believed that we could be where we are today. PEPFAR was a great idea. We need to build on it. The bottom line, folks, is that I am excited about what we can do together. I'm honored that you see in me a partner, but I am not the best face of America. You can tell, that's an obvious statement. Together, we represent the best of America. Thank you for having me.